Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Storm Collectibles Street Fighter 6 RYU in his new, old, dirty outfit. And we'll just do a question of the day right away. Do you guys like this new look for RYU? For me, it's fine visually, but I don't care for the beard, and a fighter would never have that on during a fight. Does he keep it on during fights? I haven't played Street Fighter 6 yet. Anyway, it's a pretty decent character design in general, and Storm did a really good job of capturing it, so let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Okay, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. It is a standard Storm package, though I hate that they blew the head up so big that they had to cut the top of it off. That looks super goofy. Maybe they shouldn't have done that, but otherwise it's your standard Storm packaging, nothing particularly noteworthy. I don't know if the whole spray paint aesthetic, the motif, is a great Street Fighter thing, but that's what it is, and they didn't ask me my opinion. This guy is in stock at Big Bad Toy Store. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to get one. He stands about 18.5 centimeters. That's going to make him roughly, let's call it 7 1/4, just a touch higher than that. And so he's pretty good size here. He's up against the Marvel Legends Darwin, so clearly still not 1/12 scale, much larger, definitely in the 7-inch range. All right, so yeah, he looks really good. Like, I don't care for the design personally of the character, but Storm did a great job of capturing it. His crotch looks way too big. I'll explain that later when we get into the articulation. But generally speaking, he looks really good. The soft goods on here are wired. They're a good material. There's a plastic thing for the clasp right there. They are painted and tattered effectively. This thing is really, really nicely done. It's one of the better looking Storm figures lately, I think. It's very well detailed, and it looks just like it's supposed to. Like, I thought it was going to be bad, and it's not. It's not at all. The faces, like I said before, I'm not a fan of the character direction, but I don't think it looks like RYU at all. But this looks like the game, so I can't complain about the figure. It looks very nicely done. This little bit right here maybe could be a little better, but overall, this is one of the better looking figures they've done. The faces especially. The skin tone's a little dark. That might be accurate to the source material. I'm not 100% sure, like I said, for Street Fighter 6, but they did do a good job detailing it with shading and the little scars and everything. The sculpt is pretty nice and organic. The only real drawback would be the pecs are really small to accommodate the shoulder articulation, which once you pose it, you're not going to notice, so that's fine. And then I guess I'll mention it briefly for the aesthetic section. He does appear to have a giant crotch, and that's because he does have a giant crotch. They gave him a huge crotch to accommodate the baggy pants, which they did not need to do. Storm always does this. They stick the hips out way too far. On baggy pants, they would be right up against your skin. They wouldn't be billowing out right here. So if you cut that off a little bit, narrow this right here, and the thighs a little bit on the outside, it would look so much better. And then also, they do have the giant dangly bit of his crotch, which is just way too big. It sticks down way too far. They did that to make it look like the baggy pants have a shorter inseam, a lower crotch. That's fine, except for on an action figure, you can't do that, because if you go too far down, you get this. You get a big wang hanging down when you do a kick. So when you do a Tatsu, you don't want to look at that. So that's a problem. But otherwise, it looks really good. The belt is done really nice. The details, the shading throughout everywhere, very nicely done. He has really large big toes and kind of strangely sculpted feet. And that's not the biggest issue with the feet, though. The biggest issue, which I guess I can talk about in articulation, but I'll mention it now, is they're curved. The feet are curved at the bottom, so he is never standing flat. He will rock. That's a problem. But the rest looks really good. My biggest gripe, I'd say, is the big crotch and huge cheeks. And maybe that the bandana is a little bit bright, given the new direction. But otherwise, it looks really, really good. So aesthetically speaking, I will go 8.5 out of 10. Really, really good. I would go higher if it wasn't for the giant crotch. Okay, as for accessories, we do have the cloak thing, which is done really well. It's wired across the top and down on the sides. That's very nice. We have 4 total heads, different expressions, all look really good. Bandanas to go with each one, that's fine. A whole good spread of hands, nothing crazy, but all the stuff you would need, so I like that a whole bunch. And then lastly, you get his amazingly good fireball and acrylic stand for it. I still hate their stands, but the fireball itself is maybe the best fireball that's ever been fireballed as an action figure. It's very nicely done, between the frosted white to the clear to the blue to the purple. It looks great, and the sculpt is awesome. So accessory wise, I'll go 9 out of 10. Yeah, you could add more, like more effect parts, but that's still a really good spread. Now for articulation, it's nothing out of the ordinary for Storm. The head is on the big long neck peg that allows the whole head to lean, or the neck to lean, which works well, and then the head is connected on a ball peg. The beard does transfer onto the neck because there's a little bit too much, here, I'll show you on here. There's a little bit too much black paint going down there around the edge. You could clean that off and then he wouldn't transfer any paint, so that would be something to consider. But otherwise, the head moves around well enough. You should be able to get your poses done. The bandana does rotate. It'll pop off because of the hair, but it does rotate if you want that. The shoulders are on their standard ball peg, which works nicely, but then here's the problem. His shoulder hinge only goes up to about horizontal, and when you go to raise it higher using the ball peg, it just pops right off. Nothing's broken. It just doesn't want to stay in place to raise the arm better than horizontal, so be aware of that. But you will get your full rotation. It's nice and creamy, no problems there. Bicep swivel is fine. You have to fight it a little bit due to the sculpt, but it's fine. Double jointed elbow works really well. I don't remember Storm's elbows working quite as well. It's not the best looking elbow they've done, but it does work nicely, so I like that a whole bunch. Wrists are on ball hinges. That's all standard. For the torso, on the upper joint, he leans back nicely. Like, that's really good. Love that. He leans forward nicely. That's also really good. Love that. Leaning to the side is pretty good. Not bad at all. Rotation. Okay. Yeah, you definitely need to lube that. Get some lube in there. Get some silicone oil in there and you'll be okay. And then you do have... This is a separate piece, but I don't think it's actually... Like, it's just a separate piece sitting on top of his abdomen. You just move it around all together, as far as I can tell. Which also does have really good range. And so the upper body is nice. The shoulder issue is a problem, but it's not a big deal. Upper body is nice. This moves, of course, so that's good. Now let's see if his giant crotch and hips work. Going out to the side, oh man, the joint is so high up from that dangly bit. He has almost full splits, and there's no nuggets, but there is a giant dong. So be aware of that. If you're doing some certain poses, you may not like the way it looks. But yeah, he does get the full splits, so that's okay. Legs on Storm have been annoyingly loose this way. So yeah, you can force them forward. The diaper is too big. The diaper's too big, it's too cumbersome. You can get the legs up there, but you really have to force it, and that's unfortunate. I might trim some of that away. The looseness is annoying. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. They don't go back too far because how big the butt is. Like, you can force it, I guess, but it's gonna look goofy. Yeah, this diaper is way too much. Storm, small diaper. Don't err on the side of bigger diapers. Always err on the side of smaller diapers. All right, thigh swivel is in there. It goes out to the side pretty far, not so far to the inside. Double jointed knee is acceptable, but not much better than 90, so don't expect any crazy deep knee bends. You do get a boot swivel, so to speak, where the leg connects to the pants. That's nice. The ankles go pretty far back. I'll take that. They still don't go that far forward, though maybe a little bit better for Storm's usual limited ankles. The ankle rocker works nicely due to that boot cut in there, so that's good. And then the toe hinge is just way too far back on the foot, and it's ugly. It's not floppy or anything, so that's okay, but it's way too far back. The key to a good toe hinge, is you want the hinge to be at the ball, not like they did it. Like they did it at the ball of the foot, but too far back. You don't want to include the ball. You want it to be here. I don't know how to describe it any better. I've done lots of reviews. Check them. You'll see what I'm talking about, the toe hinge. It needs to be farther forward so the toe is going and the ball is where the weight is. I guess that's the best thing to describe it. Instead of having the cut back here, the cut should be all the way up here, where this piece is. Like right there is where you should cut it. Like another, I don't know, 3 millimeters forward, and that would make a much better looking and better functional toe hinge. Because right here, you might end up with too much weight on the front, and then he's just not going to be able to stand. Anyway, it also looks bad. But the articulation's not bad on this guy. A little bit of looseness in the hips. The toes are a little weird, but mostly it works pretty well. It's not perfect. It's probably not their best. These caps don't stay in place, and I never know where to put them. Maybe like that, and like that. Is that going to look best? I don't know. That's probably not it. Who knows? Whatever. Yeah, it poses pretty well. It's not their best poser out of the bunch, but it's not bad. I'll give it a 7 for Storm. It's not impressive. But the overall look, let's do the final verdict here, is pretty darn good. Like, I don't even like this version of RYU, and I'm quite pleased with this figure. It looks nice. It poses well enough. It has a really nice fireball. I think this will be a good addition to most people's Street Fighter collections. Unless you hate this look for Ryu, I would say you should pick it up. I will give it an overall rating of... I'm only going to go 8 out of 10 right now because Storm's been doing this for a while now, and the giant crotch is really not a good idea. They should know better. And the looseness is driving me nuts. A lot of figures lately from Storm have had loose hips. So you could go 9 if you don't care about those things, but that's where I'm going to leave it because they are kind of expensive figures at this point, and it's an experienced company, so I'd like to see a little bit better from them. But still, a really good figure, and you could easily call it a 9 if you wanted to. So yeah, I recommend it. There it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.